Well, hey folks, how's it going today? I hope you're all doing really good. Welcome to part two on this Alvarez Yare 12-string restoration. Today we're going to work on making a new bridge for it. I have a couple bridge planks here on the bench. This is East Indian rosewood, really pretty stuff. I like the looks of this one. It's got a little tighter grain, but this is a nice piece as well. You can see they dip the ends in wax just to seal it off and keep it from cracking. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set the existing bridge on here, and I'm going to trace it out on the blank, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just to make sure we have enough, and also, to kind of cover up any of the old ghost lines from where the other bridge was. It's not a bad idea to make it a little bit bigger. You can always, shave it right down to the exact dimension when you get done. So in the first video, I took this bridge off, which I think is Brazilian rosewood probably. Maybe not, but I know Alvarez, especially the Yairi line, was known for stockpiling a lot of wood over the years. So this one's been sanded down quite thin. It's probably 3/16 of an inch. So we're going to use it as a template, basically. So I've traced the bridge out to where I feel comfortable having it oversized. And like I said, I'll probably work this down a little bit smaller. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to line that bridge up on the pencil trace that I made. I'm taking a piece of masking tape and I'm taping it right to the new blank. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to transfer the bridge pin holes onto the new bridge right now. And I'll probably also measure out where the saddle is going to be located, roughly. I'm also going to set this on the guitar again, probably the existing bridge, stick the neck back on, and take a measurement from the nut, just to double check everything. But what I do want to do is align these bridge pin holes. And that's why I made this bridge a little bit, greater in size in every direction. I want to make sure the bridge pins line up nice. And there's plenty of material here. If I have to move the saddle at all for intonation reasons, I have plenty of real estate to do it. So I feel safe transferring the bridge pin holes now, and what I'm going to do is use a transfer punch to do that. Okay, so if you don't know what transfer punches are, you can get these at, Harbor Freight, or you can get them online too. What they do is you obviously have a point in the center, but they're all different diameters, and what that does, if you're trying to transfer a mark through an existing hole, you get the right diameter punch, like that one there that fits in the old bridge pin holes in the original bridge, which is taped to this piece of bridge blank here that we're going to make the new one out of. So we can accurately transfer those marks, okay? And these work really good. I really recommend getting a set of these if you don't have some. I'm probably going to use that one. Seems to fit a little better. Okay, so again, these are the same diameter, or you find the one that is the same diameter, I should say, as the hole that you want to transfer onto your new piece. And when you get the right size, it centers itself in the hole. You get a perfectly centered punch mark. And then there's no guesswork. I don't have to measure anything. I know these will definitely line up on the guitar perfectly. Okay, so let's get that done. Okay, here we go. Now let's check that out. I don't know if you guys can see this or not. Yeah, I guess it's going to be hard to get it on camera, but there is a hole centered perfectly. A punch mark centered perfectly in that hole, so I'm definitely looking good. So we'll just continue to do that, and everything should line right up nice when we get ready to put the new bridge on the guitar, which is a plus. Okay, that's all 12 of them, and that's looking very good from what I can see. Like I said, it's really hard for me to get this stuff on camera. There you go, you can kind of see them now. We got some nice centered punch marks in there, so I really do recommend getting a set of these. I use these from time to time, and you know, it's one of them things. I don't use them all the time, but when I do, it's probably the best thing since sliced bread. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so what I've done here is I've transferred these marks from each end of where the saddle would be onto the new rosewood blank here. And that way, I'm going to be able to use that as a reference to mark out the saddle position. I've also made a mark across the very front of the bridge as it sits taped onto the rosewood blank as well. So as I said before, I'm going to make this a little bit oversized. I'm going to use this line as kind of a reference. And probably what I'll do is actually take this tape off, slide the bridge back a little bit on the blank so I can get the profile marked out on the back side of the bridge where the belly is. And this line that I've marked across the front will also be used as reference. So that's going to be the next step. And then I'll take some good measurements on this existing bridge from the front of it to where the center of the saddle is on both ends, so I can get the angle just so. And then we'll set up for the router, and I'll probably route that in first and get that out of the way while I get a good piece of block to work with. It'll just be easy to clamp and handle. So I think that's what I'll do first. I'll cut that saddle slot in, and then it'll be just a matter of cutting the shape of the bridge out, rounding the wing tips down, and also drilling the bridge pinholes, which I could do pretty much any time, but I think I'm going to hold back on that right now until I get this saddle slot located. And we should be good to go after that. It's going to make a nice bridge for sure. Okay, so I just got done routing the saddle slot here, and I was just going to show you guys the little jig I made. Pretty simple. So what we got here is this. We got a piece of laminate flooring. This happens to be vinyl. And I took some masking tape, put it on the vinyl first, put some on the bottom of the bridge blank, super glued those together to hold the bridge blank in place. Then I took another piece of flooring and butted it up to the bridge blank, glued that to the laminate flooring as well. Took another piece of laminate flooring and flipped that over and skewed it on an angle. That way I could cut at the preferred angle, and I made a mark on each end here with a pencil so I'd know how far to go, and I kept taking measurements as I did it. So the saddle slot is good. It's where it belongs. Now we're going to drill out the holes here eventually, and I'll start cutting this blank down to shape as well. We'll get the contour on the bottom and get everything fit right so we can get it back on the guitar. I'd also like to note that I'm going to make a new saddle out of deer antler, and I made the saddle slot just a little bit wider. That way I can, fine tune and do things on the saddle if I need to adjust the intonation any. It's always a good thing to have just a little bit of real estate there. The one that was in the guitar was quite thin, as you can see. So that'll be just fine. And like I said, the slot is centered, no different than the original one. And the distance from the bridge pins to the saddle is all correct. From the front of the bridge to the saddle is all correct as well. So everything should line up great. We should be able to put the new one on the guitar, put a couple bridge pins in it, and, take our measurements. And, it's going to change a little bit when you change the neck angle because you are changing the distance of the strings slightly. So you got to kind of do this in steps and make sure you take the right steps. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to be in good shape. Okay, so we got the bridge off the little jig I made. I'm going to hang on to this because it does work, and, I don't do a lot of this, but also every bridge is a little different, but I may be able to reuse this again. So it'll go in the pile in the corner like the rest of the stuff. Okay, so we're going to use a Japanese back saw here to cut the bridge to length, and then I will lessen the thickness of the bridge here eventually. I may just run that right through the table saw, and then the rest of it will be a lot of handwork, honestly, and sanding discs and files and all that fun stuff. But the Japanese back saw does work really good. It's quite accurate. It's really easy to cut a straight line, and it only has a 10/1000 kerf, so once you get it started, just keep it happening. Cuts really fast. Rosewood's really pretty dense. I mean, this is cutting it nice. I'll also save the dust. Whoop. All right, we're almost there. I was going to do this with a chainsaw, but it was really cold and I flooded it this morning, so there you go. Okay, same treatment on the other end here. So if you've never used a Japanese back saw, they only cut when you pull it backwards. When you run it ahead, it doesn't. So when you start your line, you got to do it going backwards. It's really easy to start a nice straight line with these, though. It'll surprise you how fast they cut, too. Nice thing is you don't get any tear out with these either. It's really fine teeth, so it doesn't splinter the wood so bad. Almost there. Okay. Well, I'm going to save those little pieces and all the dust as well. Okay, I'm going to pick up the tools. This is my new thing, folks. I'm going to start picking stuff up as I go so I don't have a big mess every time. It's really mind-blowing the amount of tools that I can get out in a matter of 10 minutes working on a guitar and just flood the bench. And, you know, when you're in the heat of it, you just keep going. Then pretty soon you can't move because there's stuff piled all around you and everything. So I got to take a few minutes and clean up. Sorry to put you through that. I wasn't lying about it being cold in Maine this morning. It was 9 degrees above zero. That's a good day. Fahrenheit, I'm talking. Okay, so we're at the drill press here. Getting ready to drill out the new bridge pin holes. And I'm going to drill these out a little smaller than they need to be, and I'm going to take them in the rest of the way with a tapered reamer. Here we go. Better tighten my bit up. All right, let's try that again. All right. Just 10 more. Okay, so we're holding the original bridge over the one that I just drilled out, and all the holes line up really good. So we know that's going to line up correctly. Our bridge slot, our saddle slot is going to line up correctly too. So now it's just a matter of shaping it and cutting it to thickness. So all is well so far. Thank goodness, right? You know, you just got to take your time doing this stuff. I know some people, even some of my friends, seemed like they were nervous about this whole procedure I was doing, but you know, there's nothing that you can't fix. You just got to take your time, do everything really slow, try to map out all your best routes, and it does take some thought and some practice. So again, if you're going to do this kind of stuff, practice on an old guitar. Now, I did want to add this too, that the original bridge pin holes are not absolutely perfect. So I did match it. I had to, because we got to match up to the holes that go through the top of the guitar into the bridge pad. So it is what it is. I mean, it's very minute. You really can't see it, but if you do it with a set of calipers, you can see it. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things, but again, you have to make these little judgment calls along the way and make sure things fit properly. So I guess our next move is to thickness this bridge, and I happen to have a 1978 Alvarez Yairi in the studio, so I'm going to go grab that and get some good measurements off that, because that bridge has never been touched, and that's really my best reference to, you know, the thickness. I got to have something to go by, so I'm going to try that and see how thick that one is, and you know, that should put me in the ballpark, I'm sure. Okay, folks, so well, I've been shaping this bridge here a little bit, and I figured I'd show you guys how I go about this. Now, what we have is a drill press here with a flapper wheel in it, basically just a little sanding wheel with little pieces of sandpaper in it. So they call them flapper wheels, you know, sanding wheels, what have you. So I've got that run right down pretty close to the drill press table. And I've got a piece of, you know, just a thin piece of wood here. And I've got the flapper wheel run down almost to the top of it. And I set my bridge on there when I turn this on. And I'm doing this with one hand, so bear with me, but what it allows me to do is come up square to the flapper wheel here, as you can see. And I can just slide this piece of, this is actually a piece of laminate flooring, which is really slippery on the finish side, so when this is going, it allows me to slide this along and work the piece and keep it flat. So, you know, I'm always sanding it at a nice, perfect 90 degree. So that way you don't undercut nothing. If you undercut it, when you get down towards the end, the bridge might be too small to cover up the hole that you're trying to cover, or at least, you know, the missing finish where the bridge was. So that's my method, guys. It works really good, and you know, you can do it in all different directions. And like I said, it keeps me square, and it keeps the piece stationary so it doesn't get caught in the tool and, you know, get flung across the shop or anything like that. Works really good. If you don't have an oscillating, you know, spindle sander, this is a good alternative. Okay, so I'll give you a brief demonstration of what I'm talking about. Now, as you can see, that rolls right along nice, and it keeps your piece, you know, squared to the sanding disc, which is really key. Sometimes rather than buying, you know, the specific tools, sometimes you can stumble onto little things like this on your own. When you're poor, you become very inventive. Well, okay, we got something that resembles a guitar bridge here now, so still not to the right thickness yet, which I will do. I need to take a little bit out of the center here, though. That's why I haven't done this yet, and I'm probably going to take some off the top as well. I got a little, let me see if I can find it. There's a little chip out right there where I did the routing. You'll never see it when I put the saddle in, but I am going to fix that so it looks the part and looks right, and it's nice and straight and square. So, at the end of the day, we will have a bridge. As you can see, I do need to refine the size of it a little bit more. It's oversized, but everything is where it needs to be. And I'm just going to slowly take this down to where I feel comfortable. I will get the guitar body out next, and I'll start fitting it to the guitar body. But this at least gets us in the ballpark. And it shows you guys at least how I go about making a bridge. I'm not saying that's the right way. I'm not saying it's the wrong way. It's my way, I guess. I know I do things a little different here. You guys got to understand something. I'm not a trained luthier or anything like that. I'm not even a carpenter. I'm actually a journeyman iron worker. So that's why my approach can be a little different here at times, just the way I go about things. You know, I apologize for that at times too, but you know, there's little things that I may do differently than a lot of repair guys, and you know, it's all about your background and what you were trained in and that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying you have to have you know, a college degree to fix a guitar, because that is certainly not the case, but it takes a lot of time to learn it, you know, just run-of-the-mill daily repair work. So, you know, you do run into a lot of different things over the course of your repair journey. Sometimes it's just repetitive stuff too. It's just, you know, truss the neck, dress the frets, that kind of stuff, which can be boring. So I do like to do this kind of stuff too. That's a really nice piece of rosewood. That's going to be really pretty when we get that all polished up and hooked onto the guitar. Okay, folks, well, this is probably getting a little bit long, but I figured it'd be good to kind of segment this repair out, so that way, you know, you're not just bored watching a 2-hour video of me yakking and blabbing and going through the motions. It's probably best for me to do it this way too. It's easy to keep track of what I'm doing as far as videos and that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, that's how I go about doing a bridge, and I really do appreciate you guys watching and checking out my videos. Leave a comment if you feel the need, good or bad. It doesn't matter. I have big shoulders. So thanks again, folks. I do really appreciate it. We'll see you real soon. Be good. Okie doke.